गुड मॉर्निंग महेश। अभी क्लासरूम में कोई नहीं आया और आप चेक कर लेना, कोई आएगा तो कैमरा एडजस्ट कर देना। और बाकी मैं ऑनलाइन हूँ तो स्क्रीन शेयरिंग में कर दूंगी। आप सिर्फ एक काम करना, मुझे ना को होस्ट बना देना।
होस्ट बना दो।
हाँ, को होस्ट बना दीजिए, तो बीच में अगर कोई कुछ गड़बड़ हो तो मैं संभाल दूंगी।
को होस्ट बनाता हूँ। होस्ट
नहीं, को होस्ट बना दो, होस्ट मत बनाओ।
आप अभी को होस्ट ही हो।
को होस्ट है।
हाँ, यहाँ पे होस्ट हूँ मैं। मतलब आपको होस्ट रहोगे ना तो क्लासरूम बंद नहीं हुए वैसे तो।
हाँ, ओके, नहीं ठीक है, चलेगा। अगर किसी को कोई बीच में निकल गया, एडमिट करना हो तो नहीं हो पाता।
अच्छा, इसके लिए होस्ट बनाता हूँ। होस्ट ही बना दो। कर दिया।
ओके, थैंक यू। आज उदय सर का क्लास नहीं है ना इसके बाद? आप उधर से अनम्यूट करके जाओ।
आपका ही लेक्चर है आज।
हाँ,
तो क्लास में कुछ आया क्या?
ओके, थैंक यू। गुड मॉर्निंग अग्रिमा। Good morning, Agrima. Can you hear me?
Hello, ma'am. Good morning. Yes, I
Good
can.
morning. Okay. So how are you? How did your exams go?
Ma'am, find my exam like the one on 20th. Yeah, it was okay.
What exam was it?
It was an engineering exam actually, VIT triple E.
Oh, good. Oh.
Yeah, so I shifted my focus to IPM. So yeah, it wasn't as great, but yeah, it was good enough.
Okay, so you are sailing on both boats.
Yeah, actually, before I thought, yeah, of engineering and medical, but then I thought that my interest isn't really in the engineering field, so that's why I switched.
Okay. Good morning, Rahul.
Good morning, ma'am.
So Rahul, you're facing quite a lot of network problem, I believe.
Yeah, ma'am, because I'm shifting, so there's a lot of havoc.
So lot of havoc. So how will you be able to manage today?
Yeah, I guess today it will be fine.
If
Actually,
there's a problem,
very tired.
can you join? Okay. So all the packing and all going on.
No, I actually had a marathon 10 kilometer. I just came home.
Oh, so you
Yeah.
are an athlete also.
Yes.
Wow. So apart from marathons, what else do you do?
Oh, I used to play table tennis at state level, basketball state, football state,
Okay.
uh,
So
yeah, badminton
oh,
state.
hmm. Oh wow. So which marathon was it today?
Uh, Marine Drive Trailblazers actually.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't
Girgaon
know there was
Chapati.
I didn't know there was a marathon today.
There are marathon actually like a lot of
Hmm.
marathons are actually there every day. So I'm actually preparing for one that is in Ladakh,
In Ladakh?
20 to 21, yeah, 21 kilometers.
Oh, great.
But I don't know if
So
I'll be able to complete that.
your dad is also a marathoner?
No,
Only you?
just me. Yeah.
Very good. I like your enthusiasm. So Rahul, have you been able to go through the video of the classroom? I haven't shared the PPT. I have, okay. I can do one thing. I can share the PPT also with you if you want to later on.
Yes, ma'am. That would
Um,
be
that I can do that. You can go through it.
yes, ma'am.
And yes, I will share the. Okay, if you have any problem, can you join with your mobile if your network is not okay?
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
Huh,
Actually tried it yesterday,
huh. It
but
did work.
I was not able to actually join. Yeah, today it won't be a problem probably. I'll complete the class.
Oh. Good morning, Sneha.
Good morning, ma'am.
How are you?
I'm good.
So, Sneha, are you having any problems so far?
No, ma'am.
No? You are understanding everything?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Agrima, any problems so far?
No, ma'am.
No? All okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Rahul?
Yes, ma'am.
Any of the topics which we did so far, do you have any doubts in any of them?
No, ma'am.
So, okay. So far, I believe you have been able to do all the worksheets that I gave you.
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm?
Did you send the worksheet for power examples or we
No,
have
I
yet to
haven't.
complete it?
I'll be sending it today because I wanted to do some more questions, so I would know which questions I have completed. So I would give I would give a separate worksheet for the questions that we have completed, and a new one for the ones which you will be doing on your own,
Okay, ma'am.
right? Okay. Anybody else joining in? I don't see anybody else. Okay. Anyone in the Tharna classroom?
चलो कोई नहीं है क्लास
कोई नहीं है ना क्लासरूम में अभी? Okay. Okay, we'll just wait another 2 minutes. Maybe some more will join in and then we will continue with today's lesson. So in the parajumbles, are you able to get the concept clear? How to go about it, the strategies? Agrima?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, yesterday
The,
we had some complicated questions and
yeah,
the answers were not very clear.
yeah. But it's like the main rule is that you go from general to specific. If
General
we
to
keep
specific.
that in mind, then we'll be able to solve, I think, most of it.
Yeah. And if in case in the exam you have problem in of getting to the correct answer, then mark an answer, mark it for review, and come back to it. Don't spend too much of time on any one of the questions,
Yes.
because then you will be losing time and you won't be able to finish the ones maybe which would be easier to do. And
Yes, ma'am.
parajumbles usually come at the end. So one thing good, comprehension will come first. Parajumble, at least in IPM at indoor, it did come at the end. I don't know what they'll do this time. They may put some in the middle, some at the end. They could go on doing anything. But yes, in parajumbles, you have to complete a question in less than a minute, yeah, less than 50 seconds. 45 seconds will be ideal, maximum 50 seconds, not more than that. Okay, so Sneha, can you tell me what other rules did we talk about in for parajumbles? Yes, Sneha, are you there? Good morning, Aditya.
Good morning, ma'am.
I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Sneha, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Agrima said that we need to go from general to specific. Anything else that you have to keep in mind, which will help you solve the parajumbles?
Ma'am, we can look for the opening sentence or the closing
Hmm.
or the sequence of the sentence.
How
Like
will you look at the sequence of the sentence? What will
by
help you
date, time, like morning or evening, or
right
yeah.
the chronological order or the logical order of the thought process. If a time or activity is given, then the chronological order of time. Anything else, Rahul? Can you add something to that?
We should always look for introductory and concluding sentences.
Yeah. Suppose you can't figure out the introductory and concluding sentences, then what do you do?
You look for introductory keywords, probably.
Yeah, the
Keywords and
Anything else?
you look for indicators like
Hmm.
some pairs which always come together,
Yeah.
cause
So
and effect, support,
transition words, keywords, and what else?
connectors.
Connectors. So you form your mandatory pairs with the help of connectors. Anything else? Good morning, Mansi.
Good morning, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am, I was late. I was facing some issues with my network.
Okay. Okay, so we were just recapping on what are the strategies we need to follow for para jumbles. Okay, so now Rahul, can you give me something more? Okay, I think Rahul already gave me. Aditya, anything else of importance that you have to keep in mind for strategizing your para jumbles?
Flow of thoughts of
Flow of thoughts, right? And
some particular words such as primary. So if primary is there, then in the next sentence you have to have secondary or
yeah.
following on.
So we have to look at transition words which will give us the cause-effect relationship, contrasting relationship, or explanation. So if an explanation is there, example will follow. And what else? Pronouns. If you have a pronoun in a sentence, the subject that the pronoun is referring to should be there, should be in the previous sentence. Anything else? Articles, and the, yeah. So if you have and, then it could be an introductory sentence. Even the could be an introductory sentence, provided it is specifying the subject. Otherwise, if it is say the committee, then the committee should have been in the previous sentence. Okay, so I think almost Most of the people are here. Okay, so we'll do one thing. We'll continue with the questions we were doing. Now, yesterday we did some questions. Some were complicated. Some were quite ambiguous in their answer options, but we managed to solve, right? So we'll do some more questions so that we know the different types of formats. Now, yesterday we did only one particular format. I hope everyone can see the screen. Question number 8 is there on the screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now we'll pick up speed and try to solve as many because we have to discuss also. So we can discuss, solve them. So this is one from 2020 IPM at Indore. So go through the options. You don't have any answer options given to you. You just have to figure out the right. Okay, yeah, the answer option is okay. Sorry, you can see the answer option. So here you have four sentences. First one begins with however. Now anything begins with however will not be your introductory sentence, right? So however cannot be your introductory sentence. Now the second one says an indie film refers to independent films. So it is introducing the indie films. Their release. Now they should refer to something before it. Right? And most of such films. Now such films are referring to the indie films. So I think this is an easy one, right? You can see the answer. Do you think the answer option given is correct? Yesterday we had a few of them which were not correct. So what can we pair this however with? Yes, Agrima, what can we pair the however with?
With option D.
With option D. Most they are low budget films produced and distributed by small companies. However, they stand out. So A and A and D. Okay. Then where does B comes first? We know that B is an introductory sentence. Now where will C go? Hmm? If you have B, DA coming together, where will you put C? Also limited to few screens. So it is if it says also limited to few screens, there should be a point before that, right? So what should come before C? Now, if you look at the sentences, an indie film refers to independent film made outside a major studio system. If that is an introduction, what should follow? It should the explanation or some more details should follow, right? So if it is formed, if it is produced outside the studio system, Then we can, what comes next? Most such films will refer to the films that already stated. So D will come after B. Agree, ma?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you agree? Such films should, when we say such films, the subject of which films it is referring to should come before D. Right? Hmm?
Yes, ma'am. The order should be B then D.
Okay. Now this, if we say such films refers to B. Now, so we have B, D. Of course, you said B, then D. You said D, A. B, D, A. Would that be your?
I mean, I can see the option as BDCA, but I feel that BDAC also makes sense. I
Okay.
feel that A and C are interchangeable because one has although
B, D, A,
and
C.
also and one has however.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
the
Yes,
production sentence should be followed by the release sentence.
right. So here, if we see now B, D, we know should come together. Now between A and C, which one should come first? A says, however, they stand out because they help the filmmaker realize. Now they stand out, however. Now there should be a problem before this. Some contrasting element coming in before A. So does D give the contrasting element? Most such films are low budget films produced and distributed by small companies. And C says their release is also limited to few screens. So actually C is adding a point to D, right? Now if we put C after A, then the contrast can be between D and A, but then C will not maintain the flow. Yes, Agrima? So I think
Yes, ma'am.
if you put C first and A after that, now read the sentences in the order. So your order now would be, instead of CAC, it should be CA. So if you read in that order, does it make better sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, the flow is better. Got it? So did everyone get it? Why we are not going with AC? Mansi, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, are you following properly?
Yes, ma'am.
So now we go on to the next one. Yeah. Another one of those mental illnesses. Okay. Mental illness continues to struggle for recognition as a significant contributor to poor health in spite of existence of mental health care. Yeah, in spite of existence. The data reveals that an estimated 1 in 7 Indians, 197 million persons suffer.
Ma'am,
Yeah,
have you changed the slide?
yes,
Because it is showing the same slide as
it's showing
previous
the
one.
same slide. So everyone can see on the 8th question till now.
Ma'am, the PPT is, you have not put in PPT mode.
Okay, just a minute. Just a minute, I'll share again. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you see question number 9 here? Hmm? Hello? Adesh, are you there?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay. Adesh, are you there? Okay, can you all have your videos on? So at least I know you are there and I'm talking to you. I'm not talking to just a blank screen and a name. Thank you, Pahi. Okay, so here we have it says mental illness continues to struggle for recognition as a significant contributor to poor health in spite of existence of Mental Health Care Act 2017, right? Then it says the data reveals that an estimated 1 in 7 Indians or 197% suffered from mental disorders at varying degrees of severity in 2017. There is always more human health than meets the eye. That seems to be a general statement. This is particularly important in the Indian cultural and political context where the outward appearance of physical well-being is often considered the only visible marker of overall health. So now C we know is a general statement. It can go in the beginning or in the end. So, but it doesn't seem to be a concluding statement. It can go in the beginning, right? Now what next? It's talking now the entire paragraph is talking about mental health. Yeah, and it doesn't get recognition. How many people are suffering and why it is important, right? So because outward appearance is not what is a visible marker of or is the only marker of overall health. So what will come after C? I just somebody was saying something. Sorry, I didn't get it.
I
A.
think it's A.
A. Okay. C A. Then you said A will come after C. Now, have you formed any mandatory pairs? Any two sentences that would go one after the other?
Ma'am, I think so A and B will go together because both of them are talking about the Mental Health Care Act in 2017. One is explaining about it and the other is revealing the data, so it's like giving more specific data about it.
So which one will come first?
B will come after A.
B will come after.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yeah. Yes,
Option D states this is. So shouldn't it be connected with C? Because C explains that there's more to human health than meets the eye. And then we'll go on to talk about how it's, the only marker. And then we'll talk about the mental illness in 2007, like the act in 2017, and then the data in 2017.
Okay, so it could be C, D, A, and then we can go on to B, right?
I mean, it's just the D part. A and B, I agree that they must be tied together.
So now C we know is the first sentence. B and A will go together. Now coming to D. Okay, so now we have one option where somebody said CA. Who was that? I didn't see you. Was it Mansi?
Yes, ma'am, because in D part, it is given this is particularly important. We don't know what is particularly important.
So we have to figure out what that this refers to.
Yes, ma'am. That's why I put D at the last. Because
so
after
this
the
is particular, there is all now if you read the sentence D, this is particularly important in Indian culture and political context where the outward appearance of physical well-being is often considered the only visible marker. So this has not gone into the mental health as yet. Yeah, has it? So the next sentence should be more specific. Now this is a general statement. D is maybe expanding on C, right? Do you think so? Yes, Mansi?
Yes, ma'am, it is more of a general statement.
It is more of a general statement. So now this is particularly important as Indian culture and political context are where outward appearance of physical well-being is the only visible marker. Now, after this, we come to mental illness. Mental illness continues to struggle for recognition as a contributor to poor health. Now we are talking about overall health. Mental illness contributor to poor health. That is a contrast between D and A, right? And then to support that, there's the data which reveals that 1 in 7 Indians suffer from mental disorders. So CDAB could be our best option available. Do you agree? Aditya, what is your answer?
CDAB. Same.
CDAB. Now, if you put D after B, doesn't really make sense, right? So we go from general statement, expanding the general statement, something specific about introducing mental health, and then about the data, right? So I think that should be. Everyone agrees, Pahi? Yes, anyone with a different answer still? No? Okay. So let's see. Yes, CDAB is our answer. Okay, let's look at this one. Now you have 5 sentences in fact. So putting 5 sentences in order isn't an easy job. So we'll get an idea what this is talking about. Yeah. It was felt that major polluters had a moral obligation to deliver on the agreements reached some years ago during a similar convention. So obviously this won't be our opening sentence. The papers presented indicated that the impacts of current warming are much more severe than previously understood. So this is talking about the papers presented and they indicated something. It appears that the planet's ability to adapt to and cope with how it is being treated is framed. Now that seems to be a general statement, right? For example, the acceleration of sea level rise and ocean warming and increasing risks of reaching limits to adaptation. This is what emerged at a recent conference attended by largest scientific committee on climate science. So now we are in a little bit of a fix. What should come first? Which is the most general statement? Pahi? Which one seems to be the most general statement? Yes, Pahi, I've already marked it. Pahi, are you there? Can you
Yes,
hear me?
ma'am.
Okay, so
Yes,
this is what can go into your introductory statement. Yes? Come on, fast. What should be the
C.
introductory sentence? Okay, so C is the most general statement which doesn't really talk about anything specific. Okay, so what can come after C? Look at the keywords that we have marked. The first one says a similar convention. It should be related to another convention. So maybe E and A, would that be related? Or B? Now this is what emerged at a recent conference attended by the largest scientific community on climate change. What emerged? Anybody can tell me what emerged, Aditya? What emerged in a recent conference?
The fact of the news of the planet's ability to adapt.
News of the planet's ability. Okay, let's see if that works. CE. Then we can say the papers presented indicated that impacts of current warming are much more severe than previously understood.
Then D.
Hmm?
B followed by D.
B followed by D. But bit okay, now bit followed by D, then what comes last? A comes last. Hmm? Okay, let's read it in this order and try to figure out whether it is correct or not. It says, it appears that the planet's ability to adapt to and cope with how it is being treated is fraying. This is what emerged at a recent conference attended by the largest scientific community on climate science. The papers presented indicated that the impacts of current warming are much more severe than previously understood. For example, acceleration of sea level rise and ocean warming and increasing risk of reaching limits to adaptation. Impacts of current warming are much more severe than previously understood. For example, this. Okay.
Ma'am, could it be C, D, E, B, A?
C,
D,
D,
E, B, A. E for,
E,
yeah, E,
B, A.
B, A.
Okay. We look into that also. Okay, now we were just discussing this. D says, for example, acceleration of sea level and increase. Now, it was felt that the major polluters had a moral obligation to deliver on the agreements reached some years ago during a similar convention on climate change. Now that could be a concluding sentence because it isn't talking about anything specific. It is talking about what the convention spoke about. Yeah, it was felt that major polluters had a moral obligation. So the polluters should come before. So let's keep C and A. Now here we have agreed between C and A as the introductory and concluding sentence. Now, if we have to connect the others, if we say C and D, it appears that the planet's ability to adapt to and cope with how it is being treated is fraying. For example, the acceleration of sea level rise and the ocean warming and increasing risks of reaching limits to adaptation. Now, if we see, this is not something that we can say was discussed in the papers, but it could relate to the planet's ability is fraying. Yeah, it could be. This is a like a second degree of generalization. Now let's see if it fits in here, or if we can shift it somewhere else. Now coming to E. This is what emerged at a recent conference attended by the largest scientific community on climate science. Now, this is what emerged. What is this? That the sea level was rising and ocean warming increased and this reached the limits. This is what emerged. That could be, right? Now, after we say this is what emerged, the papers indicated that the impacts of current warming are much more severe. So now if you look at this much more severe, there's a comparison coming in. Yeah, Aditya? So if a comparison is coming in, what are we comparing it to? We are comparing it to what emerged in the papers. Yeah. So B should come after E. So we have B after E in both of them. But the example D would be better placed before E. Right? Do you people agree? I think CDEBA is a better arrangement than CEBDA. What do you think? Yes, everybody? Mansi?
Yes, ma'am. Option.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Agrima? Yes, Agrima, you were saying something. Now, if you
Yeah, no, I was just
analyze the points, which would be better?
yeah, I feel CDEBA.
CDEBA would be better, right? Aditya, what do you think?
Yes, ma'am.
So if we read in the order, this gives us a better flow and it's a better chronological order, right? So I think we could go with CDBA. Let's check if they have given the same. CDEBA. Yes, they have given CDEBA, right? Okay, so now here what was the point that we were missing on? The for example and much more severe, right? So when you are saying for example and this is not related, it hasn't talked about the convention as yet. Now the convention, the papers, the conference, all these should go together. So somehow A, B, E, right? These should come together in some order, right? So E, B, A is the order they are coming together, and C and D are coming together, right? So it's a generalized statement, then a little addition to the generalized statement, and then the others relating to the conference. Okay, now this is a GIPMAT question. There's a Jammu one. Here they have given a sentence which is split into 4 parts, and you have to arrange it in the proper order. Okay, this is something easy. Hmm? Anyone with the
Ma'am, is it
answer?
option C?
Option C. Yeah, that seems to be. Anybody else with the answer? Rahul?
Yes, ma'am. Option C.
Option C. Read the whole sentence in that order. It should be grammatically correct also. Pahi, Sneha. Yeah. Adesh. Adesh, what's your answer?
I'm C.
Are you sure? Okay. So we'll go with C, right? I think there is, so the only hopeful sign in such a situation now, after situation is that should come in, is that there's an increasing tendency of what? Among ordinary people to see health as a right and responsibility. Okay, let's look at this one. This is another sentence broken up into 4 parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have to put it into proper order. If you come to a opening, then you can just eliminate the options which don't have that opening. Now remember, a sentence can be a part of a paragraph. They may just pick up a sentence which may be a part of the paragraph, and there could be a reference point in the previous sentence which we don't know.
It is again C, I guess.
Again, C. Let's see. R begins with and. With that word, let me see. Far beyond that, any minority communism can. That in a democratic system can acquire power. And this is for a simple reason that Q that comes in an SP concept. Right. Yes. It may seem that it begins with and they've given all of them in the lower case, so we don't know where the sentence begins. But if you put the others in order, that reason that can go in, say we remove the and. This is for the simple reason that in a democratic setup like India, majority communism can acquire power far beyond that any majority communism can. Right? So this is an actual diplomat question. So we have to get used to sentences beginning with and where we don't know what has come before it. Yeah. So here your correct answer will be C. Let's look at this one. Thankfully, some short sentences. Here you have to write your own answer. No options given to you. Yes, quick. Pahi, what's your answer?
Ma'am, I'm little confused with one option. Where it would go.
Ma'am, is it 2413?
241. Okay, who said she was confused?
Ma'am, I was confused between 1 and 4. Whether
1
one will-
and 4. So what was your order?
I was thinking that 2, 1, 4, 3, but I don't think so. It makes sense much of it.
Okay, read it in the order that you think it should be and see if it is correct. There is a definite order in the sentences here. So if you begin with 2, that is the hunter-gatherer. Now he cannot be the first sentence. The hunter-gatherer refers to somebody. Hunter-gatherer went from place to place in search of food. That can come first. Now he just harvested the wild grains. He is talking about wild grains. Now as crops began to give better yields, this reduced his need to go in search of animals. Yeah. Now that would be a concluding sentence because the crops giving better yields. This followed by an attempt to grow food. So wild grains can be followed by attempt to grow food. So we can say 1 comes first, then we go with 4. Sorry, 2 comes first. Then we go with 1, right? Then this was followed comes after that. And as the crops began to grow, that comes last. So 2, 4. Okay, who said 2, 4? Who was it? I forgot who was it. Yes,
Oh, ma'am,
Rahul.
it was me.
So this was followed. What was followed? The hunter gatherer. You said, okay, just read it in that order. 2, 4. The hunter gatherer went from place to place in search of food. This was followed by an attempt to grow food by scattering spare grains. Yeah, spare grains. And remember, he has grains already. right? And then he just harvested the wild grains. Now, would he have spare grains if he didn't harvest earlier? Hmm? Yes, Rahul. What would be the logical order? Rahul, are you there? Come in quick. We
Yes,
have
ma'am.
to
Yes, ma'am.
move on. Yeah. So he must be having some grains from earlier, uh, which he scattered to grow, and then he got yields and then better yields, right? So what do you think? 2143 or 2413?
Ma'am, why I thought it wasn't making sense because harvested is given in the first sentence.
He
Where
just
can he?
harvested wild grains.
Yes, ma'am, but how can he
Yeah.
harvest if we don't know where the wild grains are?
He
So
found the
that's
wild grains, no? See, he was a hunter-gatherer, went from place to place in search of food. He found wild grains. Wild grains means he didn't cultivate,
okay, ma'am.
right? He found the wild grains, he harvested them. Then this was followed. So this was followed, something should come before it related to growing food. So spare grains gives you the clue that he harvested the wild grains and then he attempted to grow food, right?
Okay, ma'am. Understood.
Everyone got this one?
So, ma'am, the correct answer is
It is 2413,
yeah. Okay.
right?
2413 or 2143.
Sorry, two. No, it should be 2143.
Ma'am, but how can it be one? Because you can't harvest something before growing it.
Right, I think
You
you
need to
are
grow
correct.
something only then you can harvest
When
it,
you're
right?
talking about harvest, means we grew them. Right, I think 2413 would be correct. So he harvested, but the wild grains are a little bit confusing. Okay, so he just scattered the wild grains.
Ma'am, if we see 1 and 3, they are making pairs because in the third option, or in the third point, it is given that as crop begin to give better yields, this reduces need to go in search of animals and wild plants. So I guess 1 and 3 will come together, and I guess
Right,
Rahul's answer
wild
is
plants is also there. Very good. Wild grains and wild plants go together, right? So it reduced the 1 and 3 go together, and 3 is our concluding statement. So, and 2 is our first statement. So 4 comes in the middle. Yes, thank you so much. I was a little confused on this. Right? So, thank you for bringing clarity. Okay. Now let's look at this one.
will it be 3, 2, 1, 4?
3, 2, 1, 4. Okay. Let's see. Anybody else? Adesh, what's your answer? Adesh, Sneha, I want answers from you.
Ma'am, I feel 3241.
Okay, Agrima feels it is 3241. Okay, we have two options here. Anybody else with some other arrangement? Pahi? Pahi,
Yes,
do you have an answer?
ma'am, just a second.
Adesh, you're not responding. Where you?
Ma'am, here, ma'am, I'm confused.
Between? So what is the answer you have? Because here we are also a little confused. So can you give me your answer, Adesh? What do you think is the order?
Ma'am, 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So have you been able to connect the words? Have you been able to connect the transition words and the chronological order? Okay, read it in the order that you have said and see if it makes sense.
Yeah. I got it. Ma'am, it's 3, 2, 1, 4. 3, 2, 1, 4.
3 comes first,
Yes, ma'am.
3, 2, and then 1, 4. Okay, let's see. Aditya, what's your answer?
Yes, ma'am.
So what's
I
your
go with
answer?
3, 2, 1, 4.
You go with 3, 2, 1, 4. Okay, anybody else?
Ma'am, I guess I agree with Agrima because 4 and 1 means like 1 is the combination of 2 and 4.
1 is a combination of 2 and 4.
Like it is an
Okay.
example derived from 2 and 4. 1, 1.
Right. So, okay, now let's see. We have 3214 coming in and 3241 coming in. So now life in the rural Kashmir, Kashmiri village seems idyllic to Shalini at first. So this obviously makes the first sentence. As she's befriended lovely people. Now here we are talking about the positive side. Yeah. Then soon, however, that that brings in a contrast. She notices lack of access to basic medical care or education. So we can go with 3 followed by 2. Now what comes after 2? Will it be 1? Will it be 4? Yeah. There is now here they said there is a lack of medical care or education. People here are one injury away from starvation, one misspoken word away from detainment or death. So this is problem number 1 she's talking about, and this is problem number 2, right? Now if you look at 4, moreover, the ever-present political disruptions mean that life in Kashmir is far from Shangri-La utopia. So what is Shangri-La utopia? Shangri-La is actually referred to a place in Tibet, which seems to be the perfect for a peaceful living. So there is no peace, right? So this could be a concluding statement. So 4 comes last. So obviously 1 can come after 2. So soon, and then the next point about some more problems. So we can say 3, 2, 1, 4 is our correct answer. Everyone agrees? If
Ma'am,
anyone has a problem, yes, Mansi.
as the 4 is mentioning about the political disruptions that is happening in Kashmir,
Yeah.
and the first one is given that one misspoken word away from detainment or death. It can't happen because of health, but it can happen because of politics. Like
Yeah.
one misspoken word can send one to jail if the politics are involved in it.
Right.
So that's why I chose for 4 and 1, like replaced.
So now here it is saying, moreover, the ever present. Now people here are. It says soon, however, she notices lack of access to basic medical care or education. People here are one injury away from starvation, one misspoken word away from detainment or death. Now here starvation also comes in, right? Now starvation, you would you connect starvation to the political disruption?
No, ma'am, it would be connected to 2.
It would be connected to. So these are the two main points she notices. And then moreover, this goes into that apart from this, the ever-present political disruption means that is far from. So this is far from. So in the beginning, she thinks, at first she thinks that it is idealistic and idyllic scenery and people were lovely. And then she goes into those problems. And then the concluding is it is far from peaceful. Right? So that would make sense. Let's see. 3214 does make sense to us also. Okay. So this is a 2019 question. Quite long sentences. This could take some time. Now, the study published means there should be a study mentioned before. It recent in the Lancet, published in the Lancet recently. It could also refer to the study published in the Lancet. Reveal that people living in democratic countries live longer than those. So it is talking about living in democratic countries live longer than those who don't. They also have less of a chance of dying from heart disease, strokes, and even road accidents. Less of a chance. Incredible as it may sound, we are now told that democracy is not just a good for the soul, it is good for the body too. Right? We are now told. Without pressure from voters or foreign aid agencies, dictators, this is talking about dictators, have less incentive to finance more expensive prevention and treatment of heart disease, cancer. So this may be a reason why people in democracy are better off. Okay. Okay, sorry, this is a repeated option, the same option has been repeated. So actually we just have 4 options. A study spanning 170 countries found a strong correlation between health and most progressive. So this is talking about a study spanning. So a comes in, a study spanning 170 countries.
4213.
So 4 can come first.
Ma'am, 2 could come first.
2 could come first.
2,
But
5,
it is a
1.
general statement, like it is dictate, it's like it is explaining what is the topic exactly about.
Okay, now we a study spanning somewhere now 2 says incredible as it may sound, we are now told that democracy is not just a good for soul, it is good for body too. So this seems to be a generalized statement, right? Right? So this is a generalized statement. Then we can go on to a study. So a study shows that there is a correlation between health and most progressive form of government. Now what comes after 4? What can come after 4?
1.
1 can come after 4, right? So 1 comes after 4. Absolutely okay. And we are left with 3, right? Without pressure from voters, foreign aid agency dictators have less incentive to finance more expensive prevention and treatment of heart diseases. That makes sense? Everybody? Yes, Mansi, Agrima?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
2413 makes sense. It puts everything into the proper order and we can say that this should be the right answer. Okay, this answer here is not correct. Okay. Okay, now here, no, next, so far we did questions where we were given the options and we had to write our own arrangement. Now we have uh, a question format where we are given the first sentence, we are given the last sentence, and we have four sentences in middle, and we have to arrange those four sentences. So now your work becomes a little easier. So you know what comes first, what comes last, and we can pair something with the first sentence, we can pair something with the last sentence, right? So now can you solve this? Now you just have to remember that this is the only the P, Q, R, S you have to put into order. So what comes first, what comes last will be between S1 and S6.
Option C.
Option C.
Yes, ma'am. C.
Yeah, that seems to be the most logical order. Anybody thinks some other answer should be correct? Now, one thing we can figure out is that Q should come first. So we eliminate A and D. We've got our options, we can eliminate, and we have to just choose. So between B and C, Q is first. What comes after? Now, what can connect with S6? There is no resting for any one of us till we redeem our pledge in full. Now that becomes a little difficult. We shall also now here we shall also have to fight. Now something that should come before also have to fight. There should be a point, right? Now in fact we okay. Q said where do we go and what shall be our endeavor? That is connected to the general statement. Yeah, connected to number one. Now, what should come after Q? Now, P also seems to be a general statement. It could be connected to S6. Right? Did you connect it that way? And between S and R, S will come first, followed by R. Right? So Q, S, R, and P comes last. Absolutely correct, I think. Okay, we have another one of this sort. S1 given, S6 given, arrange PQRS. Yes, so what do you think should come after I had halted on the road? Hmm? What would your second sentence be? That is after S1. So after S1, hmm,
I guess it is S. I'm a little confused with the S and P because the S is talking about where he is standing exactly,
hmm.
and P is mentioning as soon as I saw. So it's the vision and it's the distance
So
thing.
I had halted on the road. The elephant was standing 8 yards from the road. Yeah, this could go together. Now, as soon as I saw the elephant, I knew I should not shoot him. So the thought of shooting will come after he sees the elephant, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So maybe after P somewhere S should after S P should come up somewhere. Now what comes in between or before after? It is a serious matter to shoot a working elephant, right? So where should this go?
After P, as it is a joint sentence.
It comes after P, that forms a mandatory pay. He thought of shooting, but also he knew that it is a serious matter to shoot the elephant. Now what are you left with? You're left with R, right?
I don't understand. I didn't understand the meaning of R. What is mean by I knew that
I
is must?
knew that his must was already passing off. Um, yeah, even that is a little ambiguous. His must means should he shoot him or not? But that is I. That doesn't really connect to anything in between. I do now. If you look at this, I decided to watch for a while and then go home. So his must was already passing off. That maybe um the other elephants must doesn't really refer to that. So at least we have found the other pairs, other sentences that go together. SPQ and R will come after that, right? So I think A will be our answer. Now was already passing off. That is, maybe I did not really want to shoot him, right? Maybe this could be this must. I knew that this must was already passing off. That makes sense. Not good. Okay, I knew that there could be a typing error here. I knew that this must was already passing off makes sense, right? So that means I did not want to shoot him anymore. And so that will come at the end. So choice A seems to be the best answer here. So anyway, if we came up with S as the first option, first sentence, then C and B and C are eliminated. Now R coming after S doesn't really make sense. So A is our only option left. Okay, so let's hurry up with this one. Again, S1 given, S6 given.
Option B.
Option B. Okay, let's see. So what do you think? How did you pair them up?
Ma'am, as now I started above their heads, it was given in the first sentence. That was just to show, like it is determining something that the noise is coming from something wrong.
What is the noise about? Right? So Q would come first. Now, if there was something wrong, and then we can say people did not take it seriously, right? And uh, it was a dangerous thing to do. To do what? Not take it seriously. Hmm? And then four, so this is the conclusion. Four, within minutes the ship began to sink. And lastly, S6, where the lives were lost. So that is the most logical order that we can come up with. So everyone thinks B should be the answer. Now we are beginning with Q. C and D are eliminated. We cannot begin with R, which says it was a dangerous thing to do. We haven't talked about what to do. Yes, everybody? Quick. Everyone confirms B is the answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Okay, now let's look at this one. Now it says arrange the following 6 sentences in proper sequence to form and then answer the questions given below them. Okay, so this is a SET example where you are given options, and of course you will be and it will be followed by questions like which is the first option, which is the sentence should come third, which is the sentence should come second, etc. So basically you have to form your own um, arrange them in the proper order so that you can answer the questions. So you have A to F, 6 sentences. So can you form a story out of this, putting them in order? So what is the order you would go with? Kahi, what is the, yes, Agrina?
I'd go with D, B, E, A, F, C.
D, B, E, A, F, C. Okay, anybody else? Sneha? Sneha, you need to be a little faster. Mansi, what's your answer?
Ma'am, I support Agrima's answer.
You stick to that. Aditya?
Yes, ma'am. D, B, E,
Yeah.
A.
So now D is clearly the beginning of the story. During a voyage, a great storm arose. Um, one of the crew began to complain. Then, in exasperation, the captain ordered him to be thrown overboard. A few minutes later, he was hauled back. Then, to everyone's surprise, the man immediately went back to his post, etc. And because of this marveling at the chain, the passengers asked for an explanation. Yeah. And finally, no, to Avon. A few minutes later, he was shown. Yeah. So, and the captain replied that how will the situation until we fall into it. Okay, let's look at the questions now. Which of the following should be the third sentence? Now, how I hope you have written down your correct order so you can answer these questions. So now the third sentence. So what comes third in your, what you've written down? Yes, quickly, just look at what you've written down. You've written down the order. If you haven't, then please write down your order. Okay, so this is very simple to answer once you've got the order. So the third sentence will be
E1.
E, right? Now the next question is, which of the following will be the first sentence? First sentence is obvious. What was it?
D.
D. Then they ask what is the last sentence or the sixth sentence?
F.
F was the last sentence.
No.
No. What was the last sentence? Have you written it down? C was the last sentence, I believe. Right? Okay. Now, what was the second sentence? Come on, everybody. I hope you
Option
can hear me.
A.
Option A. B was our last sentence. Yeah. Okay. We have a last one. Fifth sentence. What was the fifth sentence?
Option E.
Option E. That is F. F was our last sentence. Yeah. So now this is a very easy question as such. You just have to arrange your sentences order and then pick out the one which, now don't go with like A. A is not the answer. Like here, they have arranged it. Like if you say E, E is not your sentence, but it is just an option. So don't get confused between these. Yeah. Okay. Now let's move on to another question. Now here we just have the instruction, just say arrange the following sentences in a logical sequence, right? So the same thing you have to do, no options given to you. You just have to put them in the proper order. So you have to look for, if you can't figure out the introductory sentence and the concluding sentence, look at the middle sentences or what can go together. Okay, are there sentences which you can pair together? Aditya? Any sentences which any sentences which go together?
2-1.
2 and 1 can go together.
And also 5 and 3 can go because that trend can be meant by pay for extra lessons.
5 and 3. So this is what the trend is talking about, right?
2-1-4-5-3.
2, 1, 4, 5, 3. Okay. So yes, Mansi, Agrima, what do you think?
Yes, I think the same.
Yeah, you think the same? Now 2, as new school year gets underway in many countries, the harm caused by months of closure is becoming clearer. Yeah. So becoming clearer, then something should come in how it is becoming clearer. So that is where 1 comes in. In America, this is happening. Now the damage is almost certainly worse in places such as India. So after 1, 4 comes in, and 5 and 3 go together. So 2, 1, 4, 5, 3 seems to be our right answer. Let's see, 2, 1, 4, 5. So it matches with what we think. Okay, so here you have 5 options, and luckily you have arrangements given. So you have to look for the correct one. Okay, so what are the sentences we can pair together? Rahul, are you there? Okay, Pahi, which are the give me 2 sentences which you think should go together. Any 2 which you think that okay, this and this can be connected together. Pahi, are you there? I wonder if the people can hear me. No one is responding.
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Audible? Okay, thank you. Pahi, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so can you figure out any 2 sentences out of all these which could go together? If you see, I have marked some keywords, some transitions. Now this could come in as a part of a bigger passage. It could be a little misleading in some places, but at least look at the pairs that you can form. Yes, Agrima, are you able to form some pairs?
Ma'am, I guess it is C option.
Option C. Okay, let's see if it is option
Ma'am, the
C.
pairs would be because
Mhm.
and the demand for the latter has soared among British startups, as it is talking about the startup in the British, the third column.
What is the demand for the latter?
Ma'am, it by the sentences I can't, take out the thing that it is saying about particularly.
But actually,
demand for what? Demand for now.
actually, when
What
it
can you
says,
connect? Yeah.
I was just saying that actually when it says latter, you can connect it with the 5th sentence where it
Right.
states about the GV driver
So we are
and then
talking
about
about the driver and then the competent coder, and demand for the coder is more, right? Has soared among British startups. Why? Because they require coders. So we can say 5 followed by 3. That is one mandatory pair. Now, any other mandatory pair?
not a pair, but it must start with the first statement.
First statement. But when it comes to companies that lack computer programmers, but is setting up a contrast, right? So we have to see, does it connect to something else? If not, it could begin with 1. So
Actually,
what does it connect to?
Actually, from the options, only 3 or 1 are the starting ones, and we just fixed 3. So one has to be there.
Okay. So let's see what can. So if we take 5, okay, now we have 5, 3 coming in as a mandatory pair. Now look at your options where 5, 3 come together in the order that you have taken. Yeah. So 5, 3 in the order and 5, 3 in the order, right? So 3 cannot come before 5 because the latter refers to something that has been mentioned in 5. So we can eliminate C, B, and E. So we are left with A and D. Now we have to see what could be the correct answer.
Option, statement 2 states as a result. So I doubt it could come in the second place because, just with one statement, we cannot go to as a result. We'll need some
Okay.
data.
As a result, limited access to foreign talent is a good gripe of tech founders and venture capitalists. Right? Now, access to foreign talent. Where is the foreign talent coming in? Does it relate to some other point somewhere? So as a result, should come in as the concluding sentence. Should it be? Now here,
Yes.
but when it comes to companies that lack computer programmers, the government is far more sympathetic. So the government is far more sympathetic when it comes to companies that lack computer programmers. Now this seems to, now the sentences that have been picked up seem to be a little like not in the context is not very clear what should come first. So as a result, and but and they all begin with something which is not really doesn't seem to be the beginning of paragraph as such. But still, we'll give it a try. Now we have taken 5 and 3 as a mandatory pair, so we will work on that. We have 1 as the beginning of the of both the options. Could it be the right answer?
I think it's option D, option A, sorry, 1, 4,
Option A.
5, 3, 2.
Okay, 1 and 4 coming together. 4. This is less consistent that it may seem. When it comes to the lack of computing, the government is far more sympathetic. This it could refer to if we say 1, 4. Government is far more sympathetic. 2 comes after. As a result, limited access to foreign talent is a common drive for tech founders and venture capitalists. Now, what is the result of this? As a result, limited access. Okay, so demand has soared. If you see, the demand for the latter has soared, and as a result, there is limited access to foreign talent is a common gripe of tech founders and venture capitalists. Yeah. So the demand among British startups has soared, so there is less availability, limited access to foreign talent. That can go together, and between 1 and 4, well, this is less consistent. 1, 4 could come after 1. So 1, 4, 5, 3, 2, that is A could be the only option which seems correct. Right? I think we could go with A. I'm not very sure about the answer that was given, though something was given. They had given 1, 4, 5, 3, 2. Yeah. So that could be your answer. Right? So are you still confused with this? Now, when you are confused, what do? Just form your pairs. What are the sentences that go together? Yeah. And whatever is left out, look for the option. Look for the options where your mandatory pairs are formed, and the other sentences will be whatever is related to it will come before or after it, and whatever is left out, go with the option that is given to you. So we know that 4 will not come at the end, 2 will come at the end, so we will go with A. Okay, let's look at another one. Hope this is not so confusing.
Ma'am, is it option D?
Option D. Okay, let's see if it is option D.
I guess it's A.
You think it's A. Okay. Anybody else with any other option?
Ma'am, option D should be, the last should be 1A, right? Not 2A.
Yeah, it shouldn't be 2. So the first sentence says this face off. So what was the face off? And if you see in D, we have on the other hand. So we should have something related to on the other hand, right? No, so what can you relate? This face-off will continue for several months, given the strong conviction on either side, says a senior functionary of the high-powered task force on draw. So this seems to be a concluding statement. So it should come at the end, right? So we have A and D both with A at the end, in the end. So let's look at the others. During the past week and a half, the central government has sought to deny some of the earlier apprehensions about impact of drought. Yeah, central government denies. The recent revivals of rain have led to an emergence of a line of divide between the two. Now, this could come up somewhere where we would say that um, where the divide has been mentioned earlier, and then it would be followed by what the divide is, right? That should be the logical order. So shrill alarm about economic impact of an inadequate monsoon had been sounded by the center as well as most of the states in late July and early August. That could come in as a second sentence, or your first sentence. In fact, we haven't come up with the first. A is our last sentence. So with E as the first sentence and A as the last sentence, again we are left with we are stuck with A and D. Both of them have E and A. Okay, now let's look at what is in the middle. Now, if we say during the past week and a half, the central government has sought to deny some of the earlier apprehensions about impact of drought. The central government has sought to deny. The state governments, on the other hand, unless the center is downplaying the crisis, can these go together? B and D can go together. Yeah, do they form a mandatory pair? Yes, Mansi?
Yes, ma'am.
Do B and D form a mandatory pair?
Yes, ma'am, because they are talking about the same issue but different ways.
Okay. So now again we have B and D coming in together in both of them. Now we are left with where to place C, right? Now E, A, B and D we know. But now look at C. The recent revivals of rains have led to emergence of a line of divide between the two. So where will this C go?
I chose option A because the line of divide between the two, between who two. So that's why I think
two?
that it is the central and state government.
The center and state. In E, it talks about the center and state. So the line of divide can come in over here. And what was the line of divide? B and D talk about what the line of divide was. And A gives us a conclusion. So our order could be E, C, B, D, A. Right? We have already eliminated B and C over here. So our answer will be A, right? No, our answer will be D. E, C, B, D, A. Do you think this is the right answer? Anybody? Agrima, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
So what do you think? Should it be A, E, B, D, C, A or D, E, C, B, D, A?
Ma'am, I'd answer D.
Answer D, right? Aditya? Please confirm.
Yes, ma'am.
So we can go with D. So if we read it in that order, it makes sense, right? Because the two has already been mentioned in E. So we can place C after E. So E and C form a pair, B and D form a pair, A goes into the conclusion. I think that should be correct. No, but here they say A. No, I don't think A should be correct because the two, the recent revivals of rains have led to the emergence of a line of divide between the two.
Ma'am, why I chose A is because first they're explaining the situation, that why the shrill alarm was there and the inadequate monsoon. And then they're talking about how the central government answered to the recent interviews and how the state government reacted to it.
Right.
So after that, the recent revivals, like the recent one, it is the most latest information.
Is the recent one, and this is about the late July and August. During the past week and a half, this happens, and the recent revival should come chronologically last. Right? Yeah,
That's why I choose option.
I think it is correct. So we were going with just the two, the recent revivals would make it after D. So A will be our correct answer, not D. Yes, thank you. Okay, how about number 22? I got the numbering wrong. This should be 23.
Ma'am, option B.
option B. Okay. Anybody else?
Yes, ma'am, I think Agrima is right.
Hmm.
It is B.
Option B. Okay, everybody thinks it's option B, or do you have some other answer? Adesh, are you working on it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what is Adesh? What do you think should be the first sentence? If you're following,
B only, one of the unset.
have you got your reasoning? Why B? Okay, so Aditya, please unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So what's your answer, Aditya?
Ma'am, out of these four, B, D, C most appropriate.
BDCA, that is option number B, right? Yeah, that seems to be the logical order. So if we go with this, one of the unsettled scientific questions of the late 18th century was the exact nature of the shape of the earth. That is the first sentence. So C and D are eliminated. Now between B and A and B, now one of them is the question. Then while it was generally known that the earth was not a sphere, this is telling us that what the and how to establish more about it. This is number two. Then we can go on to um, one way of doing this, right, is to determine, because they want to know how to do it. So this would be number three. And after D comes, the length would be less at one of the poles, and the last will come four. And last will be that this fact was established, right? So B will be your answer, I think. Okay, let's look at this one.
Ma'am, just option B.
Hmm? Option
Option B.
Option B. B or D?
B.
I said B. Yeah, we both said B.
Okay. Okay. Let's wait for other people. Yes, Pahi, what do you think? Aditya, what's your answer?
That's my option B.
Option B or D? D for dog, B for ball.
Ball.
B for ball. Yeah. Okay. So now one thing we know is that C should be our opening sentence. Yeah. The creator design patent sold to Remington aimed to solve the mechanical problem of earlier typewriters. Then we should come up with something which relates to the solution, right? So if you look at E, it says when a certain combination of keys was struck quickly, the type bar often jammed. So that was the problem. Yeah. Anti-jamming, what was the problem? So that can go after C, right? Now what comes after E? To avoid this, so this is the problem that we were talking about. So clearly C, E and A are a combination, and D gives A and E, so we eliminate D, we go with B. So now in these type of questions, when your options are given to you, you don't even have to go into all the combinations that you are looking at. You just have to see where you begin. Have you got your mandatory pair in the proper order? The option which has your mandatory pair and one, either the introduction or the conclusion correct according to you, will be your answer. So you don't even have to see whether D comes for last or B, D go together or not. E and now out of these two, E and E are your main concern, because the rest of them are the same. Okay, let's look at this one. Okay, anyone got a hang of the first sentence?
That is D.
D is your first sentence. So what can you eliminate?
B
So we
and
can
C.
eliminate B and C. Now after D, what can come in?
E.
E can come in, yeah. So it symbolizes the ancient roots. So to those who enjoy thundering across the countryside. Now and then, so we have D, E, right? Now D, E is your option, and here it says DBA. Let's see if DBA can be the option, and to everybody watching. Now there should be something coming up before B. We can't have B and coming in, not related to something, not the context is not there. So obviously B will not be your answer, A will be your answer, even if you don't go through the through arranging all the other options. Yeah.
Ma'am,
Yes.
I think the correct option is not even DEACB, because after DE it is perfect. Then it should follow C, then B, and then A.
Okay. Let's see. D, E, then A
C.
is okay. Two
I'm
Fox
saying
funding
D, C,
support. D, E, C,
B, A.
B, A.
Because it's referring to a different perspective of different people.
Okay, let's see. Do we have an option which says DECBA? Doesn't really. Okay, let's analyze a little and see if the options they've given are correct or not. So D, small issues sometimes have large symbolic power. Clearly a first one, yes. Yes,
Won't the
Mansi?
B and C be switched, because in the
Hmm.
C1 it is talking, it's also talking about the labor 1991 manifesto,
Hmm.
and it is continued by A, like why the movement is exactly there.
Okay, let's read them a little more carefully. So D will be your first sentence, that is for sure. Yeah. Now coming to A, okay, C. Two fox hunting supporters Labour's 1991 manifesto commitment to ban it symbolizes the party's metropolitan roots and hostility to the countryside. Now, what does it refer to? It refers to the banning the manifesto. Fox hunting is Labour's 1991 manifesto commitment to ban it. The ban it should refer to fox hunting, right? So clearly E will come first. Now to those who enjoy thundering across the countryside in red coats after foxes, fox hunting symbolizes the ancient roots of rural lives, right? Now to fox hunting supporters, the Labour's 1991 manifesto commitment. Now to ban it symbolizes the party's metropolitan roots and hostility to countryside. That should that come after E?
Yes, ma'am, that's what I think. I don't know, like B and C should be swapped.
Okay, let's look at B and A. And to everybody watching, the current mess over fox hunting. The current mess. So what is the mess? The mess should come before B. Yeah. To fox hunting suppose Labour's manifesto commitment to ban it symbolizes parties' metropolitan roots hostility to the countryside. That could be referred to as the mess.
I think, ma'am, yeah, DEACB also makes sense.
Okay, let's look at what the labor, this one says the labor movement. Too much of the labor movement is symbolizes brutality of the upper classes. So maybe that's why it was banned.
Yes, ma'am, DEACB makes sense.
So D, E, C.
ACB, yeah, the option.
D, A, then C, and to everybody watching. So all the current mess could come last. So we have D, E, A, C, B. So A is D, E, A, C, B. Got it? Now when we looked at D, B coming in together, we eliminated D already. So A was our only option, but we still have to confirm whether it is correct. Right? Everyone got the answer? Mansi? Are you convinced?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, now here we have S1 given to you and S6 also given to you. So the first and the last are given, we have to fill in the middle ones. We can see the answer, but I don't know if it's correct. We have to figure out. Unlike Kolkata Trams, Unlike Kolkata, trams are respected mode of transport in Melbourne. Respected mode. That means it is not respected in Kolkata. Yeah, Kolkata trams are heritage. Okay, this is a difference today. So there is a difference in that. While in Melbourne, the tram is a way of life and it is loved and respected. In Kolkata, it receives more brickbats than anything else. So now in the sentences that go in the middle, we know immediately that it's comparing the tram services in Kolkata and Melbourne, right? The number one says the similarities are not, it's talking about similarities, not surprising as both are contemporaneous and trams were introduced in both cities under the British rule. That is because an Australian, Robert Andre, who worked as a tram conductor in Melbourne's famous tramway, came to Kolkata on a visit in mid-90s. So what is that referred to? We have to figure out. Nevertheless, Kolkata has become a sister to Melbourne, linked by the tram. So this seems to be coming in the beginning somewhere. Unlike trams in respected mode of transport in Melbourne in Australia, so S1 is followed by 3. Then that is because, what is because? Linked by tramway. The sister city Melbourne and Kolkata linked by tramway. Why? That is because. Yeah. So what is left? You're left with 1 and 4. Now,
4 and 1 will come. The 4.
he was amazed. Who was amazed? Robert Andre. Yeah. So then comes 4. Last, the similarities are not surprising because it came in the British rule, and there is a difference today that will come at the end, right? So it is 3, 4, 3, 2, 4, 1. That is what we get, and that does match with the answer given to us. Okay. Yes, Mansi,
Yes, ma'am.
are you sure this is the answer then?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's look at this one. S1 is given, S6 is given. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 options in the middle. So you can read this and we'll all work on it.
Will it be 3, 2, 1, 4?
3, 2, 1, 4. Okay.
I'm a bit confused between 4 and 1 where it should be placed, but I guess this makes sense.
Okay, let's see. Let's get answers from others also. Yes, who else has the answer?
Ma'am, I agree with Mansi's answer.
Go with Mansi's answer. Aditya?
Yes, ma'am.
3, 2, 1, 4. Are you sure about it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's see. It begins with the surveys have established that 90% of employees of large companies are strongly motivated when they join. So this is your key. When they join, something happens after they join. After a few years, they lost their drive. Yeah. So three comes after S1. Now what comes after that? Now number 1 says moreover lack of. So moreover lack of support. So this doesn't seem to follow after 2 years. When difficulties arise, what were the difficulties? The most common problems are unclear job descriptions. So the problem should come first and then the lack of support. And in many cases, superior is not available in a crisis. So the crisis situation is there. Superior is not. Here it says lack of support when difficulties arise is another factor. In many cases, the superior is not available. So 3214 seems to be the correct order. Yes, it is. Right? Okay, do you want to do a couple of more? Or do you want me to give them in the worksheet? I think we'll do two more. Anyway, and then we will finish up. So about 45 seconds for each if we can manage that. So we have S1 given, S6 given, and 4 in the middle. Okay, so do we have something going together? Yes, what do you think should be the order now?
Ma'am, the double lines that you've marked, so are you saying that 2 should be the first statement?
So either 1 or 2, which one should go first? You analyze.
I feel 1
You think
because
one should
it's
go
more
first.
general.
Okay. Enable government agencies and the other organizations to slash costs while raising efficiency. Then what comes?
Now 2 should follow because it is talking about the company's outputs and all.
It has refined the workplace, help in bringing remote company outposts closer. So this is a little more specific to one another, or slash cost and raising efficiency. Now remember one thing, S1 is already there. What relates to S1 better, number 1 or number 2? Number 1 says enable companies and governments to slash costs, raise efficiency. Number 2 says it has redefined workplace and help in bringing remote company outposts closer to one another. And S1 says networking can be described as arrangements that let people share information, exchange messages, and otherwise get together while remaining far apart. So which one of these which one of 1 and 2 connect to S1?
I guess 2 is more connecting with S1 because
Two,
it's next to it.
yeah, so 2 connects with S1 better. It can be followed by 1. So because they have been able to redefine, they have been able to slash cost by raising efficiency. Yeah. So we can
I
have,
guess 1 connects more with S6 because it is also talking, S6 is also talking about the reduce the numbers of tellers by 18,000 over the past decade. And the
it's
first is,
talking about tellers.
yeah, but first
Slash
one is also
cost.
talking about the slash cost while raising efficiency.
Okay, so now after S1, one thing we know that 2 can come after S1. Yeah. Now 3 talks about the benefits of networks can be enormous. So here we have the benefits. So what follows from after 3 should be the different benefits, right? So when we talk about benefits, this is a benefit. Networking has enabled companies is also a benefit. The tellers, reducing the number of tellers is also a benefit, right? So can we have 3 after 2? Benefits can be enormous, of course, or now the benefits can be enormous, has enabled companies to slash costs while raising efficiency. Now, if you see, this could be a generalized statement. That is, slash costs while raising efficiency is a benefit, but it is a broader statement, right? So how they have slash costs, how they have raised efficiency, that would go into something specific. And it says, of course, the benefits that are bestowed on some can be different from others. So now we are in a little bit of a fix, right? If we think of 1 coming first, networking has enabled companies, governments, agencies, and other organizations to slash costs while raising efficiency. And then if we go on to 2, how it has done this, it has redefined workplace. So here networking has come in, and it refers to the networking. Obviously, networking is there in the first one also. It has redefined workplaces. So redefining workplaces can be explaining how it has slash cost while raising efficiency. That could also be, right? Yes, Aditya, you haven't responded to this as yet.
I think that we should start with 3. Yes, you start with 3.
It should start with 3. Okay.
Then
Then
you go to 1, then 2 and 4.
1, 2, and then you go on to 4. Yeah, bestowed. So the benefits are enormous. So this is one benefit. This is one benefit. This is another benefit. I think that also could be. So now, what should be? It's not what could be, but now what should be is the question. Yes, Agrima? What according to you?
Yes, ma'am. This makes sense.
This makes better sense, right? The benefits are enormous, and then networking has enabled companies to slash costs while raising efficiency. It has redefined workplace, helping bringing remote company outposts closer, and the benefits of it, and then bringing together the buyer and seller via electronic exchange. It's creating a new marketplace, and lastly comes in your high power network is automated teller machines, reduces the number of tellers by so many people. So reduces the number of people, so that is efficiency. So I think we could go with 3124. What's your Mansi?
Yes, ma'am, it makes sense.
Makes sense. Pahi, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
So what was your answer, Pahi? Did you work towards the answer? Okay, now it says 1, 2, 4, 3. I hope that is correct. 3, 2, 1, 4. 3, 1, 2, 4. Huh? And the answer that was given in this paper was 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. I wasn't really sure about it. 1, 2, 4, 3. Do you think 3 could come in last? Benefits are enormous. Of course, the benefits are bestowed on some can be different from others. So 3 could be either first or last, both of them. But I think
Ma'am, I guess it is given 1, 2, 4, 3 because it is first explaining about all the companies and agencies things, and then it is
and then
concluding
goes on to
that it can have many other
different from
factors.
others. It begins with uh, let people share information, exchanges, etc. So this is talking about people. People, where people belonging to organizations. Yeah, companies and organizations. And then so that is what I have thought in the beginning. 1, 2, and then 4, 3, bringing together buyers and places. And then we are concluding with can be different. Aditya,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, we have a little fix over here. So whether to get 3 in the first place or 1 in the first place. Can you analyze a little more? Because according to me, I had taken 1 and 2 together in the first, one coming first. Now, would 3 be a stronger contender for the first place? It says benefits can be on some can be different from the others, and then go on to talk about what is different. Yeah, where the tellers are completely different. Tellers are talking about reducing the number of people. I think 2 should come first. Then between 4 and 3, bring together buyer and seller via electronic exchange is creating a new marketplace. So this is also talking about how they are working at a distance. Electronic exchange means they are working remotely. So the main purpose was talking about remote and how it can be different for different people. Could sum up the whole thing before going into automated trailers. Right, so I think 1, 2, 4, 3 makes the best sense. Yes, Agrima, you seem still a little confused.
No, I'm actually not confused. It's just that I figured that 1 and 2 will be a mandatory pair.
Yeah.
Then I thought it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I thought it would be 1, 2, 4, 3. Then I agreed with the 3, 1, 2, 4 answer. So at this point, it's like sure, like now
Yeah,
that we see the
seem,
answer.
yeah, actually they now 1 and 2 can go together for sure. Now if you look at 3, it seems more like summing up that it can be different for different people. right? So if you are summing up the whole thing before going into S6, so either it should come first or it should come last. But it is not talking about now the benefits of networks are talked about first, and then you can say that we see how they are different for different people. According to me, that would be a better logic.
Yeah, it's just that now at this point, my main concern is like after seeing the answer that yeah, I'm able to figure it out, but just doing it in the exam
Yeah,
the right
it
way.
is a bit confusing because the sentences given are little ambiguous. And there is no clear uh, chronological order, but still, if you look at it that way, that okay, either this should go first or it should go last. That is number 3. But if we put it first, then the flow is, we already said that they are while remaining far apart, they are working. So how they are working remaining far apart, and then summing up of the different benefits. That would be the best option. Okay, so I think we have spent quite a lot of time on this. Now we will meet next on Friday. I think Monday to Wednesday you are not going to have your classes with Deepshika ma'am. Uh, you'll have your maths classes. Yeah, and I will create the worksheets for the para jumble questions. Okay, now one more thing I wanted you to suggest. The last 3 sessions we are going to have, I had planned to do a revision of everything put together. So what is your suggestion? So would you want to come up with your doubts first before we go on to a revision?
Well, I had a question before that. When you say maths classes, it means only the maths classes or double maths classes?
No, you'll have only the quants classes,
Oh,
not double.
because Deekshika ma'am, I think she said that the English will be taken by you. I think that you guys switched, that you'll take the first 3 days and she'll take the
No, it has
she'll
been,
take.
yeah. So she will be taking later on. I think the next week she will be taking.
All right.
Yeah. So the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we won't be having any of the English classes. You'll be having only maths classes, and Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you'll have English and maths. So English with me and maths with sir.
Okay.
Right? And maybe the week after that, Deepshika ma'am will come back to take the rest of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for the
So-
revision, I'm okay with anything.
Yeah. So we could do questions related to vocabulary as well as the grammar and para completion and para jumble, everything put together. What's it?
Ma'am, I have just completed 2 lectures. After completing the other lectures, I'll come up with if I have any doubts, I'll ask you.
Okay. So the worksheets are available. You can do the worksheets and see if you have any problems in those. Yeah. So that's
Sure.
why I didn't take the classes from Monday to Wednesday, because I wanted you to go through the entire portion and come up with your doubts wherever you think, okay, this is a little doubtful, we didn't understand this. It may be relating to Deepshika ma'am's portion also. So we could discuss everything put together. Yeah, I think only reading comprehension is left with Deepshika ma'am. So you can handle that with her, and we could revise the rest of the portion. So
Okay.
everything apart from reading comprehension, we can discuss. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Right? Okay then. So thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome. Have
Thank
a
you,
good
ma'am.
day.